Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and to today's video where we are going to be looking at my top 10 favorite palettes. I had debated between doing this video or doing one where I was going to do like my top 10 palettes I couldn't live without because I just saw Michelle Wong doing that like 2 hours ago and I'm like, oh, I should do that instead. But it turns out that my 10 palettes I can't live without and my 10 favorite palettes are, well, they're the same ones. So consider this a twofer kind of video. So 2 for 1. Yep. Anyway, if that sounds interesting and you want to see my very favorite palettes, please keep on watching. For those of you who are new here, hi, I'm Carolyn. For those of you who are returning, yes, my hair is now pink. I don't think I'm going to keep it. I don't know. I haven't decided. Comment down below. Pink hair, blonde hair. With the pink, I'm a little bit uncertain about what eyeshadow colors to use. I don't know. Somehow I was going to use green today, and I'm like, green and pink? But then I guess it's okay. I don't know. Anyway, I'm rambling. I was going to make this a short video. Anyway, welcome. Welcome all. So, I think now, roughly, I have about 100 palettes. So I do have quite a few to choose from, but like fully 50% of those are Colourpop. So I didn't want it to be like all Colourpop palettes, so I have tried to pick my favorites across a range of different brands and things like that. But to be fair, I did this a couple of times kind of thinking about all of the ones that I loved and I ended up picking the same one. So I think I feel pretty comfortable with my choices. So why don't we start? Where should we start? Okay, so I was gonna do this in like my 10, like from 10 up until 1, but I don't know that I have like one favorite palette, so I don't really think I want to rank them like that. I think we're just going to go through them and just assume that they're all kind of roughly equal to each other. I use them for different things, I use them for different things, so I love them all in different ways. So I'm going to start with 2 that I think are the newest to my collection, and then we'll go through the ones that I've had for a little bit of time and, you know, kind of maybe are my most used palettes. So they're both my most used and my favorites, which makes sense. Anyway, so on my top 10 is actually a really new one to me, and I've only used it a few times, but I really have enjoyed it, and that's the Beaute Paradise Fallen palette. The reason I love it is because I don't have any other palettes that have this kind of color story, this like blue, purpley, it's not blue, it's a purple blue kind of color, with these grays, and then you have this dark brown and a black. It's just a really useful kind of versatile purple palette. It also has some really beautiful silvers in it, so like that one is just really, really pretty. Let's see if we can give it a really nice, very easy kind of shimmery topper color, and then this purple, guys, look how deep that is. I love that color. So pretty. So I really like deep, dark, kind of grungy colors, and so this palette is absolutely something that I really, really love. So this one, I'm not going to say it's at number 10, it's just, this is the first one we're talking about. The other one that I really love, and again, it's kind of a newer addition to my collection, is the Lethal Cosmetics X Jolina palette. I've talked about this many times. It was on my favorites of last month, and I think this is going to be a palette that's going to be a staple in my collection for a very long time. I love the green, the yellow, the pinky tones. For me, it's a really versatile palette. It's kind of like a murky rainbow kind of thing, so I really enjoy this one. I love the Lethal Cosmetics formula. I've already said a lot about them, so I'm not going to like go on about it, don't worry. But definitely this one is going to be a palette that I'm going to keep on using for a really, really long time, and I love it. Really good. Okay, so one that I actually did a review of pretty recently, which is the Lunar Beauty Moonspell palette. So this one is, I love it for a lot of different reasons. One, the formula of the eyeshadows is really good. So that's obviously A+, A+ there. And it has a beautiful color story in it. These greens, the deep purples, all the kind of brown, warm shimmers. I love it. But then, look how beautiful this is. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. It's definitely one of my most beautiful palettes, so I absolutely love it. It's easy to use. Formulas are absolutely great. I really like the Lunar Beauty formula. So this one, again, really great palette. Absolutely love it. I will put the video review, the thing that I did on this palette up here, if you want to see it. Okay, so the rest of these, I may have mentioned them before, but probably not, because these are all from way before I ever started doing anything on YouTube. So okay, a lot of people hate on this palette, but I really love it, and it definitely was one of my most used palettes last year, and that is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Rivera palette. So it is kind of a pinky rainbow palette, but I mean, you can see how much I've used this. It was one of my go-to summer palettes when I went on field work over the summer. I took this and one more that I'm going to show you today, and those are definitely, like, I used them so much while I was away whenever I felt like wearing makeup, which wasn't every day, believe me. What I love about this is that it's such a fun, bright, vivid color story, and these shimmers, I mean, they're so cool. This gold shimmer is, I don't have a lot of colors like this. I have plenty of golds, but nothing that's really like a yellow shimmer. I love that. This one, what is it, Seychelles? You know, they're just really stunning shimmers in there. The mattes work great. I love this palette, and I have used it so much. I think right now it's my favorite Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. I am waiting for Subculture to come, the new formula Subculture, so we'll see how that one plays out, because it's definitely a color story that I love. Okay, next, why don't we just go through all the Colourpop ones. I think I mentioned this in my ranking my Colourpop 9pan palettes. So my top two, I think, were these ones, and they still are, which is the Just My Luck and Lilac You a Lot. So Just My Luck is the palette that got me into green eyeshadow in the first place, and I still love this palette. It's still definitely one of my go-tos green-wise. I reach for it quite a lot. Obviously, you can tell I really love this kind of electric green kind of shade, that lime shimmer that they have in there, which is just so pretty. But this one, I think it's a really excellent palette. I think the color story that they chose to do in here is really good. When I knew they were doing another green palette, which ended up being the Mint to Be palette, I was really excited at first, but once I found out it was mint, I wasn't that excited, because what I really wanted was like a bright, vivid spring green palette, something more kind of electric looking. But anyway, so Just My Luck, probably my very favorite Colourpop palette bar one, which we'll get to in a moment. So I really love this one. Lilac You a Lot, it's just a really great purple palette. It's exactly what I want. And this one, paired with like the Ace Beauty, like deep purples, is like all of the purple that you could ever want, really. So it's all of these kind of really beautiful, cool toned purple colors, which is what I prefer compared to warm tones, although I am wearing kind of a warm purpley look on my eyes today. So I really like this one. I think this is just, Colourpop has a great formula, and I think this is one of the most beautiful ones that they've done. Okay, two more from Colourpop. So this one was their autumn release for this year, which is the Whatever palette. And I think I talked about this when we were talking about the All That palette, which came out for Valentine's Day this year. So the Whatever palette is kind of like a burgundy, autumny toned palette. And I have to say, this is one of my most used Colourpop palettes overall. That, the Just My Luck, and the one more that I'm going to show you are the ones that I've used completely the most, almost like an everyday. Like, they would be the ones I would go back and forth through every day. I love the different formulas in here, but this color, Miss Brightside, this really deep burgundy brown color, is one of my absolute favorite colors that I have. I love it, and it looks so good, and that's really pigmented. I mean, there's still tons on my finger as well. I love the color story in here. I love the pinks. I love the kind of golds in there. It's more on the neutral side, but this is one of my go-to neutral palettes. This one and the other one that I'm going to show you in a moment. So I love this. I love the aesthetic of it. I think it's so cute. I do wish it didn't have the shimmer in it, or not the shimmer, the glitter shade, but I don't use it, and it just kind of hangs out there. So I might depot that one and put in something different at some point. But overall, I love that palette. Now, I wear a lot of colorful eyeshadow. Like, that's my thing. Like, for the last year and a half, colorful eyeshadow has been like my go-to happy place. But my most used palette is actually a basic neutral palette. Okay, this is the Double Entendre palette, again, Colourpop obviously, and this is what it looks like. And I don't know if you can tell how big the dip is in that, but you can tell that I've used that shimmer a lot, and it's like all three of these have like dips in the middle of them from where I've used them so much. So this combination down here, these four colors, is my go-to neutral look. Those together is just everything I need. This whole palette is really pretty, and these three colors are kind of more along the cooler side for neutrals, and those three, sorry, there's like other colors in my fingers right now, so it's kind of messing everything up, and there's purple under there still. But those three neutrals and then the shimmer on top of it, it's just beautiful, and they blend so beautifully. I can use this palette when I'm on an airplane and I'm trying to do my makeup, or one time I did it like just sitting down in like a hallway trying to get ready for something. Like I've used this so much, absolutely everywhere, and it's just really quick, easy to use. The colors blend beautifully. I have to say, I have obviously the Going Coconuts palette, and I have other neutral ones from Colourpop, but this one is still the one that I reach for. All right, so my last two, second to last, is the Nabla Dreamy to the Mystic palette. I got this one before Christmas last year, and it was one of the ones I took on holiday with me while I was in Japan over Christmas time. And for me, again, this is kind of a neutral but deep and sultry kind of palette, so it's definitely a really easy go-to palette, but these purples in here are just so pretty. And you also have these two really interesting formulas. They're called like a latex formula, which is like a cream to powder kind of thing, so they have a really interesting kind of texture and feel to them. But I just want to show you these two shimmers that are in there, these two purples. They're just so pretty. I just love them as like topper colors and things like that. So nice. And then these, oh yes, these latex colors. So you can get some really cool looks with this. Definitely something more on the edgy, interesting, like weird side. But then also, you know, you have, you know, a cream kind of color. You have a dark brown color. You have a medium toned red that you could use. You have a neutral kind of pale cream shade up here as well. And then so many different formulas of different kinds of shimmers. It's a really versatile palette. I absolutely love it. I did a video on Nabla this week already, so you can tell that I'm a Nabla fan, but this is the one that got me into the brand overall. I really love it. I've used it a hell of a lot, and it's definitely one that if I didn't have it, I would rebuy it. With all of these, if I lost them, I would rebuy them. So, Nabla Dreamy 2. All right, last one. And technically this is my favorite palette, so while the rest of them weren't really in any kind of ranking, this one is my favorite right now. And it's so funny because last night I was watching Annette's Makeup Corner and another one, which I just subscribed to. Oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot your name. I'll link her down below. And they were doing like palettes that you could change. If you changed one color, what would you change in them? Like your favorite, your ones that you would do that for. And they both picked my favorite palette, which is the Kaleidos Sci-Fi Green. This palette, I would buy like 100 of these just to keep them in stock for myself all the time, because something about these green and kind of golden shades just is like a perfect, for me, like a green neutral. You know, it's not too shiny, it's not too bright, but it's this really rich khaki kind of green colors. And so what they were saying on their videos was that they felt these two were quite similar and they might change one, but I like having them both. I quite like them. Yeah, so this is the palette. It's a very simple, you know, all you got is 6 shades, but we're going to swatch. I think it's Glamora is this one, which is this gold shade here. And I'll just do it down the side here so you can see. It's just one of the best golds I've ever had. I mean, it's just so stunning, very reflective. I love this palette. The greens are beautiful, so good. I really regret that I didn't get into Kaleidos Cosmetics a long time ago, because their formula is so good. Okay, they are a bit samey. I like them anyway. One's a bit cooler, one's a bit warmer. No, they're pretty much the same, just one's a little bit lighter, one's a little bit darker. So yeah, so this is definitely going to be my it is my favorite palette right now. Things change though, so in a year's time, if I did this again, maybe everything's kind of moved around. Actually, that'll be quite fun to do. I also have the turquoise one, and I've ordered the Astro Pink one, which has like the bright blue and the pink colors in it, so that'll probably be here. It takes about a month for me to get shipments from Kaleidos, so I'm expecting kind of maybe early to mid-May at this point. I ordered about 2 weeks ago. With all the delays happening right now, that seems kind of just about right. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for today's video. I would love to hear what you think about my top 10 favorite palettes, and if you want to talk about your favorites down in the comments, I would really like to hear about them, especially if they're ones that you haven't seen me talk about, or maybe are new ones and you're like, oh, this is great, you definitely have to try it, you know, so I get some more inspiration about what to do. Otherwise, that's going to be it. I will have another video up on Sunday. It should be quite fun. I think Sunday is video number 50 on this channel. We've already done 50 videos. I can't believe it. And on Monday, come back. We're going to be doing our next giveaway on Monday. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. Have a lovely, lovely day, and we will see you in a few days' time. Bye-bye.